So this is excellent. I'm really glad we have this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, you've met Jay before. We've got Jay Matta with us, but we also have Dylan Fine. And it isn't fine, in my opinion, that there's been a breach recently. 2.9 billion people, social security numbers, and a ton of personal information is now available on the dark web. So I recently got a notification, because I have an American Express card also, that my social security number is on the dark web. And I'm like, oh, and like whose social security number now isn't on the dark web? I didn't even, okay. So first of all, we got this thing called LegalShield, which is basically like a lawyer in your pocket, but it also helps with identity theft. And so we wanted to get Dylan on to tell us a little bit about this. So Dylan, you're the man. Appreciate you spending some time with us. How are you doing?
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be on here. I know we've got two powerhouses, Rex, Jay, so I got a lot of value to go ahead and give for today. It's going to be a powerful episode here.
Tell us about you real quick, like 30 seconds if you can. And then let's tell us about like LegalShield, what it actually is, what we can use it for, what we can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Dylan Fine. I'm 31 years young. I'm actually over here in Southwest Florida. I've been a full-time entrepreneur in the space since about 2017. I built organizations into the hundreds, into the thousands. And about 8 months ago, I got in touch with this platform. One of my mentors, a serial entrepreneur, he owns 11 businesses over here. He introduced me to this platform, and his story really compelled me. About 8 months ago, he had lost his stepdaughter that he raised since she was 3. The mother recently passed. And because he didn't have his will signed, he has a huge custody battle that he's going back and forth with him and the grandmother. So long story short, he doesn't need any more money. He's making clear $150,000, $200,000 a month with his businesses. But what he's really doing this for is the impact. To be able to save others from the time, the energy, all the money that he's spending with lawyers going through the scenario. So even for myself, I lost my sister to cancer back in 2014. So I know the power of having a will done and what happens when that's not actually done. So that's one side. The other side is actually kind of like you saw, identity protection. So I don't know how many on here I've actually seen back in the middle of August, there was 3 billion social securities that just got leaked. So if you're listening to this and you ever get a scam likely, you ever get the spam calls, well, that's because the identity is leaked. So quick testimony even for myself, one of the biggest reasons why I ended up getting started, about 6 months ago, my father got hacked, 3/4 of his savings account. Now, we, like most people, end up falling into 97%. When companies and big institutions and people assume that we don't know our rights, what happens? We get taken advantage of. So we would have had to spend $60,000, $70,000 for a lawyer, and it was not even guaranteed to go ahead and get it back. Well, if we would have had LegalShield, we would have been covered up to $3 million. They would have hired a private investigator to go ahead and work unlimited hours to get us back to pre-hack status. That's a game changer. So when it comes to either, think about how many have car insurance, how many have health insurance, how about a prepaid legal insurance? That's literally kind of the whole idea of this concept. Whether somebody's going through issues with a landlord, I know we're actually preparing for a hurricane tomorrow, so it could be landlord, estate, IRS and audits. It could be dealing with property management issues, contracts and agreements. All of these issues, these can now be utilized having affordable access with legal service and also identity protection.
Like that renter that won't leave your house.
Like
I have, so even for me, I'm also a realtor as well. I have a property rental management business. We deal with that all the time. Renters not wanting to get out. It's a whole different story when now the lawyer is sending the letter in.
You know, and Rex, you and I have been talking about this so much, man. It's like, you know, the prosperity and people building their prosperity, and we're working with people building their prosperity right now. And, you know, this is like smart business to protect that. I mean, we're protecting that. So when you work your whatever off, you know, you want to have some sort of protection. Like I wanted to have some protection. I actually sought this out. I didn't go, nobody called me up and said, you know, you should be looking at this or something like this. I sought it out because it made very good sense for me. Because when I'm in my accumulation years of building up my assets, my wealth, and and what I need from me and the ones that rely upon me the most, I got to get protected. And now they just came out Monday where when people are part of the program, they can actually get a trust, which is really unheard of, right? That's huge. So they get a trust as part of the program, okay? And then the identity theft is huge. I mean, I tell you what, there's so many people, you guys, it's happened to April before. Someone stole her identity. She's at a car. It's a painful experience to have to go through. And then you have to go through all of that stuff. And, it is a reality we live in right now where just technology has just made it accessible for nefarious forces to be able to just do this crazy stuff, but they do it and it is what it is. But we have protection here, right, with these people. And I tell you, it's just, it's been a real blessing. And you know me well enough. I mean, I'm like, we want to, number one, our biggest thing is we've always talked about on your show is like, it's great to see people prosperous, but you know what, when you get there, you're even more of a target as you start to gain more wealth. You're even more of a, you know what I mean? You even have more of that coming up there. So you just get your ducks in a row. And like these, I was thinking too, like, about my mom was calling me the other day and saying something about a will. And I'm like, you got to just get this, you know what I mean? So all of these people that didn't think about it or don't really think about it, now's a great opportunity to think about your will, your trust, and make sure your legacy passes to someone very, very inexpensively without the $300 to $500 cost of getting to a lawyer. Very inexpensively, that just comes with a part of a program to protect you and make sure that your assets, your net worth goes to where it needs to go and where you want it to go, without any type of stuff. So you're not looking from wherever you're another dimension, if you would, right, Rex? And say, oh my God, that's not what I wanted. But I tell you, people just need to look at this seriously. I was really pretty blessed to have met Dylan. And as you can see, he's totally passionate about it. He's very, very well learned on it. I mean, he's been going to these trainings on this to make sure like people like us are protected. I mean, he's very, very disciplined, and I love him. And I want to thank him because he is out there doing a real public service because we got to know about this stuff. Nobody talks about, we hear it on TV, but nobody's like, well, make sure you get your identity protected. But you know what? You may want to consider just in the event, hopefully you never use it, right? But just in the event, you got someone that knows that law that can help you and cover your ass when you need it the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. And folks, I'm sure you're going to have more questions and want to get involved. Just send me a text, 970-616-5677, and I'll do my best to answer any questions. Dylan, if I can't, Dylan or Jay will. But super easy, and it's super cheap, folks. So we'll hook you up.
It really is.
Oh, and real quick too, just before we finish this up, speeding tickets.
Speeding tickets, parking tickets. You have a flight that's delayed for 4 hours. We're actually entitled to 2 to 4 times whatever it is that we pay for our ticket. So again, the whole idea of what it is that we're doing is we're bridging the gap between the wealthy and the average person. You see, for anybody on here that studies the wealth, you'll notice one thing. Every single one that you meet, they all have a lawyer. But when you look at the average person, we don't. And just like a business, we notice it's really one or two things. A, either they're paying too much for a lawyer, tens, maybe thousands of dollars, or B, they have a business and they don't have a lawyer. We say it all the time. Bad things happen to good people every day. Affordable protection, identity services for anybody that's still going to go ahead and protect their family and their business legally and financially.
Right on. So I'm talking about be the change you want to see, everybody. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks, brother.
Cheers.
Love it.